What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Black Market, coming at you on Sunday, March 7th. Wanted to give you guys a quick update for the coming week, um, to show you the overall markets, and then I wanted to show you a few stocks I was looking at to trade on Monday. So let's start with the ES, overall market in general. So if we look at the ES right now, we're looking at the daily chart. You can see once again I got the 21 EMA up, right? So I got home base up. You can see right now the ES is kind of right next to that 21 EMA. So we can pretty much go either way if you're looking at when you're looking at the daily chart. Looking at the NQ, so looking at kind of the tech futures, you can see tech's been weak as of late, and you can really see on this daily chart that right the NQ futures really have taken a dump as of late, and they're pretty weak right now. Easily if we fall through your low here on the futures on that green candle, if we fall through that low, we can easily go down to that 200 MA. And then we got the YM. The YM isn't as tech heavy, so you're not going to see that fall in the stock chart or on the candles here. So it's still showing some pretty decent strength, being above that 21 EMA there, just because, like I said, you don't have a ton of weight when it comes to the tech sectors in this in the futures, the Dow Jones futures. And then if we look at the VIX, really, the key in the VIX is we really want to stay below 25, or we want to stay below that 200 MA. Once it gets above that 200 MA, it can really take off. Fear really starts to sit in on the market, and you got to be pretty cautious, right? We really want it to be below that 21 EMA on the chart there, and you can see really, it's came back and it's kind of holding right at that 21 EMA. So actually, if when we're looking on the daily charts, we want to be pretty careful. So things can look a bit doom and gloom on the daily. That's why I like to look at the weekly too. So if we take a peek at the weekly, it's kind of like taking a step back, um, and really kind of looking at the mirror. When we take a step back and look at the weekly chart, really, we're still in a really good bullish trend, and we're essentially just pulling back to that weekly EMA. Once again, if you look at the NQ, the futures are pretty weak, but even the weakest sector here is just right at that 21 EMA, right? So I'm still pretty bullish on the market. I guess if I've got a certain bias, I'm still bullish to the upside. And then we can see here on the VIX, it's pulled back on the weekly chart to that 21 as well. So now let's look at the sectors. So if we take a look at the sectors here, let me change this real quick. So here's the daily charts for the sectors, and once again, I've got my 21 EMA drawn in here. And this really just talks to what I was talking about with the overall market, the semiconductor sector and technology. So the main two sectors that have been strong have been the weakest, right? If we're really wanting the market to come back this week, next week, right, in the next few weeks, semiconductors and the tech sector have to lead us, right? They've been the strongest force up to this point. They've led us to all-time highs up to this point. They've got to show strength this week, and the upcoming weeks really for us to get back towards all-time highs. So you can see here, right, as money has came out of these sectors, really, if you're looking at communications, so really the communications sector, financials, and I'll just hover over communications here so you can see, right, communications has been strong, financials has been strong, energy has been strong, and then you've got your industrials has been strong. So as that money's flowing out of semiconductors, technology, healthcare, it's flowing into communications, finance, energy, and industrials. Now, when you see money to start flow, and like I mentioned earlier in some previous videos, all that is called a sector rotation. But once you start seeing money flowing out of those sectors, right, those stronger sectors, and you don't see money flow back into other sectors, then you know that's when the market's going to get really weak, because now money's flowing out of all the equities or flowing out of all those sectors, right? It's going into gold, your bonds, silver, and it's going into other entities in the market. So right now we're still showing strength in the market just because of that sector rotation. So now let's look at a few stocks I'm looking at for the week. The first one I'm looking at is going to be Netflix. So, and right now I'm looking at trading these stocks on a pretty low time frame, just because the market, right, can pretty much go any direction. Yes, I did say I have a bias towards the market going up, but it's still near that 21 EMA. So I want to be careful with my trades. I don't want to swing. I don't want to hold nothing overnight. So I've been looking at the hourly chart, and within the hourly chart, I'll probably be looking at trading on the 5-minute chart at least for the first couple of days of the week, until I see if the market's going to get its feet or not. So, but one stock I'm looking at is Netflix. So this is the hourly chart. Once again, I've got my average volume up. I've got my TTM squeeze up, and I'm looking for, like I said earlier in some other videos, I'm looking for those dots, right? Those red dots are showing that stock's in a squeeze, and then I want that buying pressure or those light blue bars to come in. So you can see here on Netflix, those light blue bars are coming in. So this is one stock I'm going to look at on the hourly chart to trade. And you can see, if you go to the 4-hour chart, you can see here, right, it's got some room to move up towards that midpoint line. And that yellow bar, right, is coming in, meaning that here's your red, here's your selling pressure coming in, and then that yellow bar is showing that selling pressure is drying up, and this stock may be moving to the upside. So this is definitely a stock I'm going to keep my eye on for the week. If we go to my next stock I'm looking at, Baidu is going to be the next one I'm looking at. So Baidu on the hourly, once again, this is in a pretty good squeeze. We've got your red dots here, and then we've got that buying pressure coming in on Baidu as well. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on Baidu during the week to see if I can get in around that midpoint, like I like to get in on my hourly charts, and get out on a move towards that average ATR for the stock. And then last but not least, I want to look at Roku. Sorry about that. I want to look at Roku. So Roku is the final one I want to look at. You can see here, it's definitely in a squeeze. Those Bollinger Bands are kind of tightening up, and it's in a good, nice squeeze. It's right next to that midpoint where I like to enter that squeeze at, right? So hopefully the stock stays in that squeeze throughout the night and in pre-market, because this would be a really good entry to get in on the hourly chart. So that's kind of a quick review of the overall market and a quick review of a few stocks I'm looking at to trade during the week. If you like I said, if you got any questions, concerns, hit your boy up, smash that like button, subscribe. Talk with you guys later. Have a good trading week.